For the second week of this course, again, we are talking about Matlab. So if you are looking for some, Python or C language, you just go for the wrong classroom. You should go out now. But anyway, if you think you really want to learn Matlab right now, this is the second week. We are going to talk about the basic language, or sometimes we say the basic rule of the Matlab. Okay, and we are going to take an example in the second part. We are going to talk about what is DICOM. Okay, what is DICOM? It is a spatial format of the medical imaging. And today, I'm going to show you how to import or simply read this kind of the DICOM imaging into Matlab environment. Okay, this is what we are going to do. But in the very first part, I'm going to talk about some basic rule of Matlab. So again, if you didn't download the handout and the materials for today, please just visit my personal website and find out week 2. You will be able to download everything you need. Okay. And again, for students coming late to the classroom, I'd like to emphasize I have already uploaded the video for the very first week on my website. So if you didn't join us in the last week, or if you have any difficulty to hear me or understood me clearly in the last week, you can again just try to find my video. Okay. Okay, so let's start from the very first part, the basic language or basic rule of the Matlab. So again, I'd like to check how many of you successfully installed Matlab on your own notebook or computer. Just raise your hand. If you did that, just raise your hand, let me know. So basically, I think most of you successfully installed the Matlab. Okay, that's great. So we have already mentioned about the Matlab environment. So you can take a look right here. Also, you can take a look on your own computer in this classroom. Once you launch the Matlab, you should be able to see this so-called main window. You may be able to see this kind of the main window right here. We have already mentioned that it actually includes several different parts. You can see right here, I put the red words right here. This is so-called command window. Okay, you can see this. Let me zoom in. Okay, right here, you can see this section, this area is so-called command window. This is the area that you can key in command, like this one, A equals 1 plus 2, right? This is the area that you can do so-called coding, okay? And on your right-hand side, you will find out another area named workspace right here. Okay, workspace is the area that you can see any variable that you created in Matlab. Okay, so right here, because we have already typed in this kind of command, A equals 1 plus 2, so we get these three for this variable A. So now we can see, within the workspace, we can see there is a variable. Okay, you can see A in the lowercase right here, and you can see the value 3. Okay, so this is kind of the list that you can find out how many variables and what's the value of these variables right now. Okay. And today I'm also will let you use this kind of the area so-called editor. Editor is a spatial area that you can put all the codes right here, and you can save it. You can create a so-called M file. Okay, we have already talked about this. M file is kind of the file format that we can just include all the programming code right here. So we can use it later, or we can send it to someone else, or even we can hand in our assignment, right? So this is the editor. And on the left-hand side, we can see so-called current folder right here. But normally, I would minimize this area because I don't think this is that important. So maybe you can simply just skip this area. You don't need to care about this, okay? But another thing is this one. This is very, very important. Again, I want to emphasize this is very important. This is so-called current directory. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing right now. Once you launch the Matlab, please switch the current folder to the folder of materials underline L2. What does that mean? Let's take a look. I believe you have already downloaded this MI materials underline L2, right? From my website. You should download this from here, okay? And please unzip it. Unzip it, okay? Once you unzip it, it should be a folder, right? So right now, what you need to do, please go to the main window right here. Now you can see here is the current folder. What you need to do is now you can click this icon right here. This means browse for folder. So click on it. I need you to switch the current folder to this MI materials underline L2 folder. Do that, okay? You may download it to the C or any other folder, I don't care, but the final folder should be MI materials underline L2, okay? So do remember, this is very, very important. Every single week, please just switch the current directory to the right folder. Otherwise, you cannot access or use the materials from the folder I provided to you, okay? So please do this every single week. I have to say spontaneously. That means please do it by yourself. I don't need to ask for it, okay? And another thing right here, you can see there are small area right here in zoom, okay? You can see there are 3 icons right here. The very first one is so-called new script. Okay, script means a file that you can put in or key in your codes. Okay, so let me try it for you. What you can do is you can go to the Matlab, and then sometimes it may be hidden, so you can just click on the tab right here, and then you can see new script. Sometimes if you are using the 2021 version, you may also see this new live script right here. But don't worry about this. Just click this one, okay? You can try to click this one, and then you will see the editor. You can see the editor right now. Okay, so this is the way that you can create a new file which you can put in all the codes, okay? So another thing is that if you really want to open the old one, for example, the M file that I provided to you, you can click open. So it's just trying to open the old files somewhere right here, okay? But right now, I just want you to try these very simple things right here. And once you create this editor area, I'm going to ask you to do this. Just simply key in what we did. Just like this one, a equals 1 plus 2, okay? Just try to key in this thing, okay? Please do not key in this code line in command window. I'd like you to key this in the editor area, okay? So you can simply remember one thing. Whatever you put within the editor area, you can easily save it as an M file. Okay, you can do it that easily. But the things that you key in the command window, you cannot save it. It will simply transfer to the command history. What we mentioned before is just kind of the history, but you cannot use it as a file. So please try to key in some code within the editor area right here. Okay, once you key in this line, what you can do right now is to save it. So what you can do, so you can just go for edit area and then you can click save. Okay, otherwise you can use the hotkey. Hotkey is more like the control with S. Okay, pretty similar to Word or PowerPoint, pretty similar, right? Okay, so click on it. Then you will find out it is ask you which file name you'd like to use. So by default, it's untitled.m. Okay, but what you're going to do right now, again, use your student number, but you should give one prefix. That means you should add one English letter before your student number. Again, if you are an undergraduate please use S as the first letter, okay? And then you can key in your student number or something. But if you are a graduate student, okay, please just start with G. It is a simple rule that we made in the last week, right? Okay, anything, student number right here, student number right here, and then click the save, okay? So I'm going to key in this is my old student number. So you can save it, okay? So simply do it right now. You key in the code, single code right here, and then save it. You should be able to check once you save the this very first file for yourself. You should be able to find it in the folder, right? In the EMI materials underline L2 folder. You can see the file name right here. So this is very important because you are going to generate or create your homework, okay, based on my assignment. You should be able to create this kind of M file and upload this one to the E3 system, okay? So this is easy, but it is fundamental for every one of you, okay? Okay, so let's continue. Again, I just trying to remind you that, right here, okay. I just try to remind you that you can also use the command history function in the command window. Okay, so we will try to do this afterwards, so no worry right now. But right here. But one of the students just asked me, what is the difference between the editor area and the command window area? Since for both areas, I can put in the command line or code right there. So what is the difference? I have to say, for the editor area, it can be very easy to, key in over 1,000 or even 10,000 lines right there. And you can save it in a single M file. But for command window, I have to say, it has a fashion. It has a manner that you can simply key in line one by one. Okay, so if you want to do some real-time test, for example, I just want to know 1 plus 2. Okay, you can just simply key in 1 plus 2 and press enter. You will immediately see the result. Okay, so this is the area that you can test some single line or some single calculation. You can do it right now. But if you really want to save it, you should go for editor area. Okay, this is a basic difference between these two areas. Okay, and then sometimes if you want to key in what you just did again in the command window, you can try it. Just simply press the up arrow. Up arrow. You can just press the key on your keyboard. Then you will find out all the command history right here. Okay, so you can just select one. For example, 1 plus 2 or anything that I key in the before. Okay, I can just find it out. Okay, so you can switch between all the codes that you key in the before. Okay, this is so-called command history. You can try it. Okay, but again, you have no way to save the command that you used within the command window. So this is the reason you need the editor. Okay. Okay, good. I'm going to take the monitor again so everyone can concentrate on me. Okay, so I think this is a very first rule. Do remember for file name as well as for the variable name. This is a very important rule. You can see the very first point right here. The first character must be a letter. So file name, variable, they all share the same rules. You can only start with a letter, like A, B, C, D, E, no matter in lowercase or uppercase. But you can never start with a number or digit. You cannot do that, okay? This is a very first rule, okay? And the second thing, the variable name can be composed of several different things. The very first one is letters, of course. But do remember, lowercase is different from uppercase. So if you have a variable named as lowercase a, this would be very different from the uppercase a. So let me show you this right now. So I can simply do this in the command window because I just want to try. So let me key in like this one, a equals 1. Okay, this is simple. And do remember, even I say equals for Matlab simply represent assignment. Or in verb, we say assign. We are going to assign the right-hand side to the left-hand side. So equals means I'm going to assign 1 to the variable a. Of course, this a is lowercase a. So you can see right here, press the enter. You can see a, the value of this lowercase a is 1, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to key in a equals 3. But right now, this is the uppercase a. Again, I just pressed enter. So you can now see the difference. This small a or big A, lowercase and uppercase, are two different variables. Okay, so I have to say, don't treat them as a single variable. They are two different variables. If you name them using different case, lower and uppercase, they may have different value right here. Okay, this is very important. Okay, and what else you can use to name a variable? Second thing is number. You can use this one, but do remember you cannot use number as the very first character. You cannot do that. You can simply key in A1 equals 2 or A3 equals 2. That's fine. But you cannot do this. You can key in 3A equals 1. No, you cannot do that because every single variable or file name should start with a letter. Okay, do remember this point. Start with a letter, okay? And another spatial sign you can use is the underscore or underline right here. So you can see this is the example. This is the right one. You can create a variable and then name it as the CORRD underscore or underline X1. You can do that, okay? But you cannot do this. What is the difference between lower one? It uses space, right? You cannot use space as a part of the variable name because Matlab will get confused whether they are two variables or single variables. So I'm going to ask you again, please try to create anything, any variable name. You try to combine letters, numbers, or underscore. But you should follow this rule. The very first character should be a letter. It cannot be the underscore. Do remember, the very first character should be a letter. Okay, just try to create some variables by yourself, okay? Okay, take a look right here. Every single time when you see this sign, don't treat it like the equals. Don't say that. From now on, I would say assign. So when you see A equals 3, what I'm going to say, I would say we are going to assign 3 to A. Do you understand me? Because this equals doesn't mean like the equation, means left-hand side and the right-hand side are the same. But basically, this means a verb. We are going to assign something from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, just like A equals 3, right? We are going to assign 3 to A, okay? And there is another rule, although I don't believe any one of you would do this, but please do not name a new variable more than 63 characters. I think no one would do this, but if there is any case that you are going to do this, please do not do this because there is a limitation. Many of us doesn't allow you to name a variable with that long name. So we can make a simple example right here. If you suddenly fall in sleep, I don't know why, but you just do like this one, you forget to leave it up. But anyway, you just press in like this one. So it's a super long variable, right? So many A right there. What would happen? Or is it not long enough? Anyways, it still creates something like this. But anyway, if you really do it very, very long, let me just wait because 63 is pretty long, right? But I don't want to waste time. It's maybe 20, I don't know, 30, maybe 40. Maybe let me just copy it again. Oh, right here. You can see the warning message right here. If you try to create a variable with such long name, I mean longer than 63 characters, Matlab is very, very smart. It will automatically truncate it, make it shorter, okay? it will truncate it. It's only preserved the very first 63 characters. But don't do this. I think normal man like you and me, we won't do this, okay? Just do remember this simple point. And not only to create a variable to have a single value within it, you can also create a so-called array or matrix. You can take a look right here. If you are going to create a so-called an array, what you should do, you should use these square brackets right here. Square brackets right here. I think it's located close to the P on the keyboard. You can see on the right-hand side of the P on your keyboard, you will find out these square brackets right here. So now please try to create an array like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Supposedly, we have 8 numbers, or formally, we should say 8 elements within this array. What you should do is please separate these elements using space, or in another better way is using comma. Okay, you can do both ways. Okay, so try to use your Matlab, do something like this. You can create any name, okay? And use the square brackets right here. Now you should do this 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, and so on right here. And then click enter. So now you can see you create an array right here, okay? So try to do this. And you may ask, now I know how to create an array. Can I create a matrix? Matrix means we will have more than 2 rows or maybe 2 columns, right? So I'm going to show you one thing you can do right here. You can simply see right here. You can use so-called semicolon right here. Semicolon means create a new line, create a new row. So please do it again, but now put a semicolon between 4 and 5. Right now, what you can do, please do not just key in everything again manually. What you can do right now, just press the upper arrow on the keyboard. So you can use the command history, okay? Once you get this one again, you just come back to right here, come back to the area between 4 and 5 and put a semicolon right here, okay? This is the only difference, right? And then you just press the enter button. Again, now you will see this is a matrix. This is 2 by 4 matrix. Right now you have 2 rows and 4 columns. Okay, so semicolon within the square brackets means change a new row or create a new row. Sometimes we may ask, do we have a smarter way to create a matrix like this one? For example, if I'm going to create a matrix like 1, 2, 3, 4, and another line 5, 6, 7, 8, can I do it in much more elegant way? We can do that. We can use this one, the column. So what we can do right here, please try to key in this line. I don't want to just key in so many numbers. What I can do is I can simply use column from 1 to the 4. So column right here within the square bracket, it simply means I'm going to create an array, start from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and with the separation of 1. So you will get the same result, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I can do this. You can simply key in 1, column 4, and just press the key. You will see the answer is pretty similar to what you did before, right? You just simply use the square brackets and key in 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, and 4. But a much more easy way to do so is simply use 1 column 4. Okay, so what you can do right now is you can rewrite the way become like this one. So now please compare the difference between the column and the semicolon. Column means you are going to create an array start from the left-hand side to the right-hand side with 1 as the separation. But the semicolon means you are going to create a new line. Okay, so you will get the same result. you will get the same result. So that means if I'm going to create an even bigger matrix, like from 1 to 100, for example, and I want to start from the 101 to the 200, I can do this much more easier, right? I don't need to really key in 200 numbers right here. So this is another way. You can create a 2 by 100 number array right here. Okay, so please don't understand the usage of the colon and the semicolon. And the final example right here, you may find out now I use 2 columns with 1 number between these 2 columns right here. So let me key in right here. I'm going to take the monitor. Okay, just take a look. I can do something else like this one. Now take a look. If I'm going to create an array, but I don't want to use 1. I don't want to use 1 as a separation. What I can do right now, you can see right here, I can change the number like this one. Okay, what does this mean? Take a look. 1 colon 2 colon 5. That means, again, I want to create an array start from 1 and increase to 5, right? This is the start, this is the end. But right now, I want to use 2 as a separation. So you can see the difference between each number within this array. You can see 1 plus 2 equals 3, right? And 3 plus 2 equals 5. So now you can control the separation. You can control the increase. Okay, now you use 2 as the increase. So you can determine what is the separation, what is the increase that you are going to have. Okay, so this is a very important way that we can create a large matrix right now. Okay. And the final thing, now we know we can assign a number to a variable or even an array or a matrix to a variable. Can we assign string? Or in plain English, we say words. Okay, sentences. Can we do that? Can we assign single word or sentence to a variable? The answer is definitely yes. And in Matlab, we call this kind of a sentence or words is more like a string. String is a combination of the character. So let's try it. If you want to create this kind of a sentence or string, use this quotation, okay? Use the quotation right here. So try it. For example, again, I use the AA as my variable name. I give the assign, okay? But I'm going to key in a sentence, more like this is a test, okay? So you'll find out now AA is a variable containing so many different characters, or sometimes we say containing the string, okay? So you can try it. So you will find out that for Matlab, we can set so many different things within a variable. Value, array, matrix, or even a string. Okay, but using different sign. If you want to create an array or matrix, please use the square bracket. Do remember this. But if you want to create a string, do use the quotation marks, okay? Okay, good. So now I'm going to give you some easy job. I'm going to ask you to create a matrix. This matrix should look like the 5 by 4 matrix. 5 by 4 matrix. It should have the 5 rows and 4 columns and any number within it, okay? Just try to create one. You can work with your study group member. I'd like you to create a variable. And this variable should look like a 5 by 4 matrix. You can key in any number with it. And you can see the tips on the screen, okay? You can just use a command line. You can just fill the variable in the workspace. This is what we just mentioned before. But right now, I just want you guys to create a variable. It should be a matrix with a size of 5 by 4, okay? So what you should do, if you want to have 5 rows, that means you should key in at least 4 semicolons, right? So basically, you can do in this way. For example, I just want to create, for example, this one. So what you can see right here is I just try to create a 5 by 4. So what I'm going to do, again, the final row. Okay, so this is so-called 5 by 4, right? 5 by 4. So you can see right here, I use 4 semicolons, right? Because I'm going to create 5 rows. So I need to use the 4 semicolons right here. And to shorten my command line, I also use a column. Okay, so now I have a 1, column 4. That means from 1 to 4. Okay. And then 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, and 17 to 20. Okay, as you can see right here. Okay, it should not be that hard, right? So if you did this, just raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, good. You can see this is a warning message that every single time when you try to create a variable, please do not use the following combination as the variable name, because these names have already been preserved as the built-in function. For example, this one, sin, actually it has the function to do the sign calculation, okay? And this is for maximum, minimum, summation, or something. So there are some combination has already been taken by the Matlab. Just don't use this kind of the words as the variable name, okay? And there are 2 things you can learn right now. Very first one is so-called CLC. CLC means clear command window. If you think that there are too many things within the command window, you don't like it, you can simply key in CLC. So it's more like clear command window. Okay, so once you key in the CLC, it just wash out everything. Okay. And another thing is clear all. Clear all means you are going to clear all the variables that are currently in the workspace. So take a look right here. Now I have 5 different variables, right? What I can do is I can key in clear. If you want to clear everything, you can key in clear all. If you just want to clear one of the variables, you can key in the name. For example, I just want to delete this one. I don't like this one, or I want to clear it. You can key in the name of the variable, like this one. So once you key it in, you can see there's no uppercase A right here. But if you want to clear everything, just do it, clear all, okay? You will see everything would be cleared out. Okay, so this is a way that we can keep everything clean, okay? For some reason, we may want to do this, okay? So I just try to give you a table. This table can show you if you really want to translate the equation into Matlab command. Okay, for example, you can see right here, this one is easy, right? A plus B. You may have 2 variables on hand, and you want to just add the value together. You can see the Matlab command is pretty similar, simply just like A plus B, right? But for the third case right here, this means multiply, right? A multiplied by B. For a Matlab command, you should use this star sign. I think it should be like the shift with the number 8. Then you can see this star sign right here. This represents multiply, okay? So the similar case, 3 multiply x and y, it will be put right here. So here are just some translation, or sometimes we can say these are the operators for the Matlab. So if you want to do, for example, this one, you should use this so-called head. Again, this can be generated by press the shift with 6, number 6, and you will generate these kind of things. Okay, so I think this is something that you can use as a reference. But knowing about this, you don't really need to memorize it. You just use it, and sooner or later you will learn it, okay? And here are a list of some commonly used function right here. For example, if you want to take the absolute value or some variable like x, okay, you can simply use the ABS, and you can see right here, this is a parenthesis right here. You use a parenthesis, and then you can get the absolute value. So let me show you how to do this. If you have a variable right here, for example, a, lowercase a, it may be like this one. You can see this is a negative value right here, but you can use this function like ABS, absolute value, and you can use this parenthesis to let the Matlab know you are going to input something right here. So I'm going to input this variable a within the parenthesis right here. Once you key in the enter, you will see the answer. The answer, you can see no negative sign right here. Okay, so it's just take the absolute value right here. So pretty similar. You can do a lot of different things right here. For example, sign calculation, exponential, many different things right here. And you can even do so-called round, flower, cylinder. I think there are so many different things you can do. But I have to tell you that within Matlab, I think more than, 1,000, I think more, 10,000. There are so many functions you can use. But you will learn them afterwards, so no worry right now. What I'm going to ask you to do right now, it's a simple exercise. First of all, I'm going to ask you to create this array in Matlab. So please name it as the uppercase X right here. And then try to think about, you have a mathematical equation right here. Can you translate this equation to the Matlab code or Matlab command? Okay, you can just do it with your study group members. We have two equations. Please translate them into the Matlab commands, okay? But the very first thing is you need to key in this line to the Matlab, so you can have this variable x right now. Okay, so think about this. How can we give the Matlab command to calculate this equation and this one? Okay. So you can see the very first equation is the sample mean. Okay, that means I want to take the average of this array. So this xk means the kth element of the x right here. So basically we have 15. 31864313541687996. Okay, we have 15 numbers right here, or 15 elements right here. So you are going to, this is the summation, right? Sign of the summation. We are going to add everything together and then divide it by this uppercase n. And right now, this, of course, the 15, because this is the number of the elements, right? So you will get the sample mean. So mu is the sample mean. Okay, but we don't have this special sign or special character within the Matlab. So you can simply key in mu to represent mu, okay? So mu should equals to something. Just try it. After you get the mu, then you should be able to calculate the sample variance following this equation, okay? Okay, first of all, I'm going to create this array, right? And then you should try to use this one, sum. You can see this function right here. This is a function that can help you to calculate the sum of the input variable. So if I use this function like this one, again, you should put the input variable within the parentheses right here. Okay, so you can see this means calculate the summation of all the elements within the x. And then you should divide it by the uppercase n. And I have already told you that 15 is a value of n, right? So you should do this. And I would like to name it as the mu. This is a variable name. And I use this sign to assign the value of this one to mu. And the final thing I'm going to do is the sample variance, right? But I'd like to remind you, once you finish the code right here, how can I know I'm doing the right thing? There's a simple way to do so. Once you key in the line within this editor area, you can see there is not a play button. It's more like the run button. A triangle right here, right? You can click on it, and what will happen? It will execute every single line within this editor. Okay, so just press it. You will quickly see the result. It will go for the very first line, x equals to something, or you just try to assign these kind of things to the x. So you will get this one. And then go for the second line. There's nothing here. So it just automatically jumps to the third line right here. So mu, okay, again, now you try to assign this summation of the x divided by the 15 to the mu. So now you can see the mu equals this one, 5.0667, right? So this is a way you can press run right here. Or you can see the hotkey. Hotkey is the F5. You don't want to every single time move your cursor to this button. What you can do is simply click F5 key on your keyboard. Then it will again run the result. So let me clear my workspace. And now I'm going to click the hotkey on my keyboard, F5. It will again see the same results. Okay, so this is a way that you can run. Sometimes we say run. Or in video, we say play, right? But in programming, we say run your code. Okay, and how to do the sample variance? You can take a look right here. Now, we can let every single element of the x. We should just minus the sample mean right here. So what I'm going to do, again, this is not that hard. You can simply key in this one. I try to minus mu from this array, right? And you can see there is a square right here. So what I'm going to do, I will put another parenthesis right here. But do remember, if you want to put a square right here, you need to use this one. Shift with the 6. This is so-called head right here. So this means you are going to calculate the square of this array. But you may see some error message. Let me show you. You may see some error message for the usage of the head, because right here, this is not a single value. This is an array. Again, we can do it step by step. Let me just put right here. You can see this is an array, right? This is not a single value. So if you try to do the square of an array, it's more like the matrix operation. You cannot do that because you cannot simply multiply an array with itself, because it didn't follow the rule. The inner dimension of the two matrix or array should be the same. So what you can do right here is you can put a period right here. Period means I'm going to do the square operation element by element. Element by element. So this is not the matrix operation. This is more like the element operation. So I'm going to calculate the square value for each element right here. Okay, so let me do it again. I'm going to pass it to the command window. So now you see there is no error message, and I just simply get the square value for each element. Okay, so this is the way that we can calculate this part, right? And then we need to do the summation again. So you will find out if you want to translate some equation to Matlab code, you need to break it down step by step. Okay, so now you can do the summation right here. Again, do remember you need to use the parentheses to cover everything you'd like to use as the input right here. And then finally, divided by this one, n minus 1, right? So this is a sample variance. This is a sample variance. I'm not going to give it a name, but you can see the value right here. Okay, so it may be a little bit hard to some of you because I think some of you didn't learn the calculus before, or even you don't know what does this sign mean. But anyway, it's just kind of a quick exercise that I'd like to show you. You can somehow, in some way, translate the equation into Matlab codes. Okay. Another important thing is I'd like you guys to know that character and the number, these two things are different within Matlab. For example, sometimes you may get confused when you see this kind of a thing. Let me show you. For example, tell me, maybe I can use B. I'm going to delete others. Tell me, do you think variable A and the variable B are the same or different? If you do think these two variables, A and B, are the same, just raise your hand. You think they are the same. They look like the same. They all have the value of 1, right? If you don't think they are the same, they are different, raise your hand. Right, so what is the difference? What is the difference? I have to say 1 is number. I mean, one of the variable. A is the number, but B is a character. B is a character. They are two different things. Even they look like the same, but they are different, okay? So in this PowerPoint slide, I just want to let you know, even you see something that look identical, but somehow number and the character are very different. These two things are very, very different. We can take a look right here. For example, right here. When you see 1 right here, for the computer, if the computer want to know you are keying a character of 1, actually computer will treat it like 49. You might think this is so weird. I don't understand what you're talking about. 1 is 1. Why 1 is 49? It's really weird, right? But just take a look right here. Just think about this. A character of 1 is simply a sign to computer. But to remember a computer, for a computer, it can only translate it into a number. So 1, even it look like a 1, but if it is a character, it will translate it as a 49 and save it within the computer. Because computer only knows the number. Just remember this thing. For example, Chinese word. For example, 我, the Chinese character like 我. Do you think computer can really recognize this word? Actually, no. How computer can remember a Chinese character? Again, simply translate it into a number. For example, 1020. Okay, so this is so-called code book that a computer will translate every character into one specific number. And actually, we have two different code books that are used commonly. The very first one is ASCII code, ASCII. We will pronounce it as the ASCII code. And it will store 0 to 127 numbers. And you can see there are 128 combinations right here. So this is the ASCII code. From here to here. So you can see, for example, a letter like lowercase d for ASCII code is actually 100. For uppercase U right here is actually the ASCII code 85. Okay, so you will translate every single character to a number. So the computer can recognize it. But for a lot of cases, for example, the Chinese characters, we have over 10,000, I think maybe 30,000 Chinese characters. So how can the computer memorize this? We will have another code table, code book called Unicode right here. So you can see it actually allows you to save the character more than 60,000 right here. Okay. So let's do a very simple practice right here. You can try this. ABS parentheses with a character of S right here. Just try to do this. try to do this. You can simply key it in on the command window, okay? ABS, parentheses, and you can see a single character right here, S. When you're trying to use this one, although we just mentioned that ABS should be the absolute value, right? But right here, when you try to key in a character within this absolute function, it will give you the code number right here. So you can see 115. Why? Why this number? Let's go back to take a look on this ASCII code. You can find out S. Where is lowercase s right here? You can see right here, right? Let me just take your screen again. You can see this is the lowercase s, right? When you're trying to use ABS with this S character as the input, it will tell you what is the number using the ASCII code, right? So you will see right here. So this is the lowercase s, and this is the ASCII code number. So when you try to use ABS S, you will find out the answer is 115. Okay, so you can always translate this. But again, in a similar way, if you want to ask for the ASCII code, what is the character represented by 115? So you can use another function called character, but we only use the 4 letters. First, the 4 letters CHAR right here. So let me do it for you. I can translate it back, right? So 115, based on the ASCII code, if you are going to ask what is a character represented by the 115, you will see this one. Okay, so it is some translation right here. So for the case of 1, take a look right here. ABS 1. So again, this is not a number. This is a character. Just look like 1, okay? But you can ask what is the actual number behind this 1. So based on the ASCII code, this is 49. So again, you can back translate this. What is 49 of the ASCII code? This is a character of 1. So character is different from number. I just want to give you this simple demonstration to help you understand the difference between these things. So try to do this right here. You can try yourself. If you try to give some secret code to someone you really like, you can first translate 我很欣赏你. Of course, you need to do it using the quotation because this is a string. So you can use the ABS, you'll get a secret code like this one. So you can simply send this secret code to someone you really like. And if someone actually attend this course and he or she actually pay attention to me, she will immediately know I need to use Matlab to do the decode to get on the information. Okay. So try this. What does this represent? Try it. You have some secret number like 54, 58, 48, 48, 32. Try to decode it. What does this mean? What does this mean? Okay, let me just show you the answer, okay? Let me show you the answer. Just let me borrow your screen. Let me show you the answer. You see, what is the answer? If you want to secretly, have a date with someone and you don't want your classmates know the exact time, so you will just pass this information to her or him. So he will immediately know when to meet you. Okay, 6 p.m. Okay, it's kind of a secret information. So you can take a look. 54 actually represent 6 in character. 58 represent this column. And this 00 right here are the 48. And the space, take a look. Even space is a character. And it has the number of the 32 right here. And the PM and the period is right here. Okay. So just remember this simple exercise, but I just really want you guys to know the difference, okay? So sometimes if you really want to somehow translate, take a look right here. if you really want to translate a character number to a real number, for example, this is a string, the string of the 44, but I really want to make it a number, not the ASCII code behind this. What I can do, you can use string to number. Then Matlab will help you to convert this string into a number. Okay, this is very important. Sometimes you will need this because normally what we get from the input of the users, it will more like the string. But if you really want to use this as a part of the code, you need to translate or convert it into a real number. So 44 should be 44. So you can use string to number. These two represent a TO. I'm going to convert the string to TO, right? A number. Or other way, I can confirm back. I can convert a number to, again, this is TO to string. So I can do similar things like this one, number to string. Okay, then this will become like the quotation mark right there. Okay, so this is something you should keep in mind. We will use this for several times in a couple weeks later, so don't worry about this. So right now, if you have any question about the very first part, please raise your hand so we can help you, okay? So I'm going to pause right here for just 1 minute. If you have any question you don't understand, just raise your hand.